What weighs 6 ounces sits in a tree and is very dangerous.
A sparrow with a machine gun.
On television, it was the biggest thing to happen to superheroes since the invention of the speech bubble. So why not strike while the iron is hot and pump out a quickie summer blockbuster in between seasons?
I'd say the odds against it would make even the most reckless gambler cringe.
Batman, the movie.
With people in weird outfits, like the 4 super crooks hanging around here. It's amazing someone hasn't already reported this place to the police.
Batman from 1966 is not to be confused with Batman from 1966, even though they are basically the same. There's Batman, the TV series that started in January of 1966, and then there's this Batman from the summer of the same year. One would not exist without the other, and to avoid confusion with the television series that spawned this film, this Batman is often just known as Batman the movie. Later on, of course, there would be another movie simply called Batman, but that's so much less easy to confuse with anything from 1966. Now, does that make sense?
Of course.
It does? Well, then perhaps you'd be good enough to explain it to me.
Hello. Batman speaking.
Batman was first a television series and then obviously this movie. And while it's not a direct parody of comics, it's a comedy that took the form of comics and twisted them, adding its own curious logic and delicious sense of humour along the way. And then added for this movie, a deep-seated hatred of sea life.
I had to do it.
In a flurry, Bruce Wayne and Dick Grayson run to their bat poles where they turn into Batman and Robin and hop into the Batmobile to race to the airfield to hop into the Batcopter where they have to investigate a yacht in trouble. The yacht, supposedly carrying Commodore Schmidlap, who owns the Big Ben distillery, vanishes in front of Batman's eyes. Oh no, it was a hologram. That's the second time he's fallen for it this month. Wait, that's the wrong TV show. Batman is attacked by a killer shark filled with high explosives. Now, if you've ever seen Jaws, you know that's not necessarily the worst place to store high explosives, but ideally not while it's humping your leg while you dangle precariously from the Batcopter. Fortunately, Batman had the presence of mind to have prepared a selection of seafood repellent to get away from the exploding shark. At a press conference, Batman uses his best Bat question evasion to deflect the awkward queries from the gathered journalists.
Please, no more questions about that ship.
But he's taken by a Russian reporter.
Comrade Katania Irenia Tatania Karenska Alisov.
Thankfully for anybody typing a synopsis for this movie, she's mainly known as Kitka. What? Ah, screw this.
Holy demolition!
That's my dustpan.
After finding out that 4 of Gotham's biggest villains are all out of jail at the same time, Batman deduces that they've banded together to take over the world as the United Underworld. The owner of the distillery had invented a device that dehydrates things, possibly because salted peanuts and pretzels don't exist in the Batman universe.
Gosh.
The dehydrator would be a formidable weapon in the hands of this band of blackguards, and so Joker, Riddler, Penguin, and of course Catwoman decide they need to deal with Batman before they can put their dastardly plan into action.
Friends make peace. Have a shake on me.
Batman and Robin return to the ocean to find the hologram projector only to be targeted by a torpedo from Penguin's submarine. An attack thwarted by a porpoise with purpose sacrificing itself to save Batman and Robin.
It was noble of that animal to hurl himself into the path of that final torpedo.
Later, Joker suggests killing Batman with an exploding octopus. Sea life sure ain't having a good day, is it? I mean, what's next? Napalm and enemies?
Stuffing a poor shark with a ton of deadly TNT.
True, nothing sacred to those devils.
Bruce Wayne goes on a date with Kitka, unaware, of course, that she's Catwoman, while Catwoman is unaware that Bruce Wayne is Batman. Bruce Wayne is clearly very, very, very keen on Kitka. Alfred and Robin had been monitoring Bruce and Kitka in the Batmobile, where Robin is just not ready for horny Bruce Wayne.
Some things have to be private, even for a crime fighter.
Penguin, Joker, and Riddler arrive just in the nick of time to avoid the film getting an R rating, and they kidnap Bruce and Kitka. Bruce Wayne still hasn't twigged Kitka's real identity. He's just so smitten, he's prepared to bust heads in a way that would be unthinkable for a kids' television show of the time.
If you've harmed that girl, I'll kill you all.
Bruce escapes, but when Batman and Robin return, they find only a bomb in a scene that has become legendary. There's nowhere to go and Batman can't endanger innocent lives, because we have social media for that.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
The Penguin, disguised as Commodore Schmidlap, is taken back to the Batcave by a doubting Batman, drugged of course, and then awoken by Batman's methamphetamine spray, Batspeed. Penguin's attempt to take over the Batcave doesn't go so well.
It's 5 dehydrated pirates rehydrated.
The United Underworld carry out their plan to kidnap and dehydrate the United World Security Council, where there's a showdown on the deck of Penguin's submarine. Batman and Robin, of course, save the day and eventually manage to rehydrate the Security Council. Though they may have mixed things up a bit. Huzzah! Without overlapping too much with our look at the 1966 Batman television series, the original plan for that series was to launch with a movie before the series premiered on ABC, but thanks to the network's fall 1965 season having a mixed reception, the Batman series was launched mid-season in January of 1966. 2 half-hour episodes would be screened each week and would unleash a very tongue-in-cheek version of Batman on the world. Pretty soon, everybody under the age of 12, even if they hadn't read Batman comics, knew the characters from the series. Batman, Robin, Commissioner Gordon, Chief O'Hara, the Joker, the Riddler, the Penguin, Mr. Freeze, Falseface, Bookworm, and of course, Catwoman. When the television series blew up, much like The Shark, Fox greenlit a movie for almost immediate production.
I say it's crazy, but I say let's try it.
Lorenzo Semple Jr., who'd written the show's pilot and some early episodes and in many ways was the creator of the series, was given the job of turning out a movie script quickly. The main requirement, apart from the speed, used the 4 main villains. The first season had ended filming in early 1966, and after a short break, filming commenced on the feature film version that was due for release in the summer of 1966. Holy condensed production schedule, Batman! There are a few times in this movie where the rush to get this ready really does show, though it never got to the point where the film gained a subtitle.
Time is getting short.
Producer William Dozier brought over most of the television crew to put together the film.
What people are always in a hurry?
Leslie H Martinson had helmed a few episodes of the TV series and was tapped to direct this feature, where the larger scope would allow for things like helicopter shots. I mean, you've already got one helicopter, you might as well get a second. It would be rude not to. The extra budget allowed for some niceties, like filming in a water tank, and also you could make your marine biologist consultant cry.
To the Batcave. We haven't one moment to lose.
Almost the entire cast of the television series continued to play their roles in the movie. Adam West, Burt Ward, Alan Napier, Neil Hamilton, Stafford Rep, Madge Blake, and of course the villains. Frank Gorshin as the Riddler, Burgess Meredith as Penguin, Cesar Romero as Joker. But there was a problem. Julie Newmar had played Catwoman in just 2 episodes of the show's first season, but had made such an impression that the idea of her not appearing in the film was unthinkable. But Newmar was unavailable. The reasons for her unavailability differ from account to account. She was either working on a film that was unreleased, she had injured her back, or she was abducted by aliens after working on a film that was unreleased where she injured her back and was subsequently unavailable.
The truth. Sure, and what is the truth?
The film began shooting around Catwoman scenes wherever possible, until the role was quickly recast with Lee Meriwether, who later that year would co-star in The Time Tunnel and would almost join Mission Impossible as a regular, and in the 70s appeared alongside Buddy Epson in the long-running detective series Barnaby Jones.
Again, the dynamic duo escaped our trap.
Lee Meriwether wouldn't play Catwoman again, but she would appear in the TV series as another character. This Batman movie was partly meant for the TV show's legion of fans to go and see in theatres during the summer holidays, and for many at the time, it would be their first taste of Adam West's Batman in colour. While the television series was made in full colour, it would take until 1972 for colour televisions to finally overtake the number of black and white sets in the US. As a feature, it had a bigger budget than a similar number of television episodes, but it was still a film made on a budget. Now, wherever possible, the film reused sets, props, and costumes from the television series, which meant Wayne Manor, the Batcave, Gordon's office, and of course the Batmobile carried over directly. A lot of footage shot for the series was reused, but there were some additions, such as the mechanism for going up the bat pole, as well as the quick change lever to explain the costume change.
You mean...
Precisely, Robin.
Look, I've had some hairy moments while rock climbing where I really did wish that I had a quick change device.
Quickly, via Batcycle to the Batcopter.
New for the film, more vehicles. The Batcopter was a standard 2-seater chopper with some batty cladding, while the Batboat speedboat allowed the dynamic duo to race to their next action set piece. Neither would appear much in the series outside of footage lifted from this film. The Batcycle, or a Batcycle, had already appeared in the first season of the TV show, but a new design debuted in the movie. Of the villains, Penguin does get his own unique submarine, as well as his flying umbrellas. In principle, a flying umbrella sounds like a great idea. In practice, it is a face full of bug splatter.
Precisely.
These vehicles are cool enough, but none really come close to the coolness of the Batmobile, but then that was always going to be hard to top. The film allowed for much more location filming away from the studios and the backlot where much of the television series was filmed, though that extra filming was mainly conducted at the Santa Barbara Pier, which is probably the furthest this version of Batman ventured from its production base. Batman exists in its own universe of logic, where Batman can't recognize villains with their masks off, nobody twigs that Bruce Wayne and Robin dress up in tights and fight crime, a universe where the police have deputized two people whose names they don't even know, and nobody bats an eyelid.
It's got us by the metallic objects in our utility belts.
But that said, I have some thoughts. This movie is a hell of a lot of fun. The cast are as enjoyable as ever, with more scenery chewing than at an edible set convention.
Of what use is a dream, if not a blueprint for courageous action?
The four main villains linking up is the main reason to watch the movie, where Gorshin, Romero, and Meredith are a joy to watch. Lee Meriwether makes for an excellent Catwoman, and her scenes as Kitka with a smitten kitten Bruce Wayne are a highlight. Bruce Wayne really has the hots for Kitka, and he only realizes that Kitka and Catwoman share the same toothbrush too late.
Batman,
Say no more, Robin. It could be compromising.
This version of Batman was always a comedy that just happened to be a superhero adventure where the leads played everything absolutely straight.
Still doesn't know he's been kidnapped?
He hasn't the foggiest. He just keeps ringing for his confounded tea.
The action is silly and fun, though it does often feel like 3 or 4 episodes cut together in a movie and then released theatrically. Other series often had episodes edited together and released theatrically in Europe, but this Batman was fairly unique in that it was a brand new movie, and in many parts of the world it would be their first taste of the Batman series.
Oh, outwitting Batman is my sole delight, my joy, my heaven on earth, my very paradise.
While this is a lot of fun, while this is very colourful and the cast are great, it does seem to lack the tightness of the television installments. This is a film that's possibly 15 minutes too long for the story, and like some of the stunt doubles, is flabby in the middle. The villainy here belongs mainly to Catwoman and Penguin, with Joker and Riddler seeming almost like sidekicks than literal partners in crime.
Every one of them has a mother.
It's also a little darker than the television series, with the exploding shark and the sacrificial porpoise, and at one point Batman and Robin stop to emphasize the fate of Penguin's dehydrated minions.
You mean they won't be coming back?
Not in this universe.
On paper, it looks like a textbook translation of a television series to a movie, where it was almost exactly the same, but then it should be because it was almost exactly the same people making it. As an expression of Batman 1966, it's alright, but it would prove that you can spread yourself too thinly, where this film marks the peak in popularity of this version of Batman. The second series would start to see a dramatic drop in ratings, but like a crossover between The Flash and Bring Me the Head of Alfredo Garcia, we are getting ahead of ourselves. The movie premiered in late July of 1966 and did okay enough to trickle into a very small profit from its US release, and probably did okay from overseas release.
$1 billion cash from each country.
But it did not kick off a wave of superhero films like that other film called Batman.
What a set of superpower lenses!
Part of the issue may have been, why pay to go see a movie in the theatres when you could watch it for free at home?
Holy sardine!
In the 21st century, 3 clips from this movie became memes in a way that didn't really happen with the television series. The bomb, the shark, and the shots of Weston Ward running on the spot in front of a back projection screen have all found a new life on the internet. That bomb scene was greatly expanded on what was originally scripted, and indeed it is one of the highlights of the film. Another highlight, this film has a lot more Adam West on his own than was usual.
Holy Captain Nemo!
This Batman movie did not necessarily have the same sort of exposure as the TV series. It's possible that an army of fans who grew up with reruns of Batman in the 70s and 80s may not have even been aware that there was a film. Batman was a show that was often screened where I lived, but I only remember seeing the film once on television, randomly screened on a Sunday afternoon. But the film itself has seen a resurgence in popularity in the 21st century, thanks of course to memes, and it being released on DVD long before the television series.
They're used to curious sights, which they attribute to alcoholic delusions.
And despite its faults, it's still a lot of bat fun.
Let's go. But inconspicuously.
Batman was a quickly put together expansion of the popular TV show, and while it's a lot of fun on its own, it would always be in the shadow of its TV incarnation. But if you want to see a colourful Batman film where putting 2 or more villains together doesn't suck,
It's filled with human jetsam.
watch this. If you enjoyed this review, please like and subscribe, leave a comment below, or check out some of our other videos.